Right, this is the Algebra 1B Unit 1 post-test review. And today we're going to work on 4 different problems from the practice test. And this is just the first tutorial, explicit and recursive functions. Okay, and on the right side, I'm going to have some material that might help me answer these questions. Let's go through the first question. The outstanding balance of a credit card bill is $250. According to the credit card company's policy, an interest fee of 2% on the card balance will be applied to each month the bill is not paid. Assuming that the bill is not paid, what will be the outstanding balance after 6 months? Okay, now every time you deal with a problem that gives you a percentage, you're going to be using an exponential function. And the one that kind of matches this is this one right here. Okay, so let's come up with some variables. All right, A is always the first term, the very first value that you get, or initial value. That's how it is seen in Algebra 1A. That is 250. Now, the common ratio, or the rate of increase, is going to be 1.02. And again, this is from Algebra 1A. This is the same thing as 1 plus 0.02. 0.02 is the percentage in decimal form. You always want to make sure that your percentage is in decimal form before you put it into the calculator. And then 1 plus is part of the formula. Since the interest is increasing, you're going to add 1 to it. And then finally, the power that we're going to raise it to is n minus 1. So it's pretty much n minus 1 just means the one before, or the term before. Okay, now we want to know the bill after 6 months. The number before 6 is 5. So now we're going to plug it in. We're going to multiply 250 times 1.02 to the power of 5. When you plug this into the calculator, make sure that you don't forget the parentheses. Otherwise, you're going to get a funky answer. And when you do this, you're going to get about $276.02, which is this answer right here. Okay, now let's go over the second problem. Question 2. The geometric sequence graphed below shows the number of mold spores in a Petri dish. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to write these values as a list. So 1 is equal, the first value is 2. It's kind of like right here in the middle, it goes by 2. Then the second one is 4. Then the third one is 8. Then the fourth one is 16. Okay, now they're telling you here that this is a geometric sequence, which is this right here. Now the difference between geometric and arithmetic is the pattern to get to the next number. So let's look at an example here. For geometric sequences, you will always multiply or divide by the same number to get to the next one. So let's try to figure out what the common ratio is for our sequence. How do I get from 2 to 4? Since it's a geometric sequence, we know that we have to multiply a number. Okay, so 2 times 2 gives you 4. From 4 to 8, you multiply 2. From 8 to 16, you multiply 2. All right, perfect. Now let's make this into our recursive equation. f of 1 is always going to be the very first term in the sequence. My very first term here is 2. Now, automatically, once you get the first thing, what you want to do is go to your options and start eliminating the ones that don't match. So this one tells you that the first term is 1. It is not 1. The last one also tells you that the first term is 1. You do not want 1. That's not what you want. Okay, so we have, it's between the first one and the second one. Then what you want to look at is f of n minus 1. And what does that mean? F of n minus 1 just means the number that came before. All that is saying, what am I going to do to 8, for example, so I get 16? So what did I do to the number that came before 16? What you did was multiply by 2. That's the pattern. So for recursive geometric sequences, you're always doing something to the number before, and you're always multiplying something. The number that you multiply is 2. So we have 2 times the value that comes before. That's how we get that one. And the answer that matches that is the second one. Let's go to the next question. This is similar to the very first question that we had. And let's see what it says. The weight of vegetables transported by a farmer to a nearby market increases by 15% every month. Okay, so I'm going to underline 15% because that's going to be a number that I'm going to use later on. The farmer transports 460 pounds of vegetables in April, 529 pounds in May, 608 in June, and 699.60 in July. Approximately how many pounds of vegetables will be transported to the market in August? Okay. All right, let's see. So we have information for April. We got May, June, July, and we want to know how many pounds we're going to be transporting in August. Okay. All right. So this is the first month, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Now, because it's a percentage, we are going to be using this equation right here. And let's start filling in values. A is always your first term, the very first value that you had. That is 460. R is the common ratio. Okay, now like before, this is going to be 1.15. That is because we have 1 plus 15% as a decimal. 15% is 0.15. Now again, how do you know if you're going to add 1 or subtract 1? If you see the word increase, you're going to add. If it's decrease, you're going to subtract. Okay, and then n is how many terms I have. Okay, so how many months am I talking about here? They talk about April, May, June. They talk about 5 months. Now let's use this formula to get what we're looking for. So we're going to have 460. And then R, I'm going to multiply that by 1.15. And I'm going to raise that to the n minus 1 power. My n is 5. So I'm going to subtract 1 from 5. So it's going to be to the 4th power. Then when you plug all this into the calculator, you're going to get approximately 804 and 54 pounds, which is this value